Hello and welcome to this week's weather video. As we head into December and see some more cold weather, another Arctic front coming through right there, as you see on the satellite there. Plenty of clouds around today, and still plenty of clouds around this evening. Looks like maybe they're gonna finally break up later on tonight. This is our weather map. You see there's that Arctic front coming through, and a fly in the ointment once again. Remember, Friday was supposed to be clear. Well, we had a lot of clouds that day, of course. Sun earlier on, and the clouds kind of came in, and then got another low in the southeast here that's going to cause more problems with cloudiness for tomorrow, it looks like, unfortunately. But first, let's go over this past weekend. We did get some really cold weather on Friday, and we're going to go over that because we did have some records broken. And I'll just show you what ice slip was like on Friday. So I got to go back to Friday. Here we go. So the Friday report for ice slip, we had a high of 36, but that was at 11:59 p.m. It was below freezing most of the day. A low of 21 at 8:12, and that put us 11 degrees below normal for the day. And then we saw recovery on Saturday, where we had a high of 46 and a low of, a high of 46 and a low of 31, so just 1 degree below normal. And then getting to today, we had a high of 45 and a low of 26, still 3 degrees below normal, so moderated a little bit, but we have more cold weather coming. No records broken at ice slip, however, we did have records broken, I believe, at LaGuardia for Friday, and there's your low of 20. That's a record low for LaGuardia for the day, breaking the old record of 21 set back in 1942. That was on Friday, so December 5th. So pretty impressive cold, but very short-lived, and it kind of just pulled out. And we got stuck with kind of a cloudy weekend, gloomy, not a whole lot of sunshine. And we're hoping for this to see. Originally, it looked like tomorrow is going to be a clear day, but as we look at the models, we'll see, at least the last time I looked at them, it looks like that's not going to happen. Across the country, that's where the storm is going. So they got winter weather advisories in this area, and also freezing fog advisories in the mid-Atlantic. So this storm here, we're not going to see any precipitation, but we'll see some clouds from it, and then looks like a whole lot of wind out in the upper plains. We'll put the temperatures on here, and we'll show you where this Arctic front is right now. So right now, it's not through yet. Still 39 at Farmingdale. But if you look off to the north, you'll see there is colder air up in... you have to go pretty far up, but Plattsburgh is down to 16. So that's where the cold air is. So that's the air that's going to be coming down. But you could see it's not really that cold off to the west. We have 20s. So the core of this cold air is once again going to glide by the north again. So same deal again with this. What a waste it seems. I'll just show you the highs today on the map here, and you'll see highs in the mid-40s today, lows last night. Let's see if we got any radiational cooling last night. We did. Not in my alley. My alley got down to the mid-30s. That was it. Low 27 at Islip. And West Hampton saw 18 degrees. So, it was a fairly clear night last night. Cleared out, and we had light winds, so we could get some radiational cooling. And look at that, 19 in the Pine Barrens west of Toms River, too. Yeah, I wish I had that. I don't have any of that, unfortunately, because of, well, So look at the skies here. And Friday, this is unfortunately, actually, is this Friday? That was not Friday. That was one of the days. Had a lot of junk in the sky. So that was Wednesday, I think. We had a lot of junk in the sky, as you see there. And we had some of it on Friday too. You could see again the clouds. We had the clouds break last night, and the moon. We did have the moon come out and give us at least a nice moonlit evening. Taking a look again. This is the climate summary, November. Just going over this again briefly here before I go on with what our weather's going to be like for the next week here. See, we turned out to be below normal at a couple of sites here, like Central Park, 0.8 degrees below normal. Kennedy was fairly close to normal. LaGuardia was 1.1 degrees below normal. Islip was a half degree above normal. So was Newark. Bridgeport was 1.3 degrees below normal. So, and definitely precipitation below normal as well. So, anyway, let's take a look and see. First of all, we'll just, again, take a wider view of this satellite, kind of show you what's going on. You can clearly see that colder air is trying to make its way down to the north, but we've got this set up over here, which is going to be a problem for us if you want to see sunshine tomorrow. So, anyway, let's see what we got going on here. And before we even get to that, let's take a look at the wider view of things. And we'll look at the European here from 12Z and the upper air. So we still have these troughs coming through. There's another one coming through tomorrow. It's going to bring Arctic air down. You can see the blocking in Greenland. And then another batch of Arctic air. Looks like another plunge for later in the week. Another shot of Arctic air into the weekend. And a little bit of a moderation. And then some more as we head toward later in December. And then it looks like maybe there's a sort of change. We don't see as much blocking in Greenland. As we get toward the later part of the month, it might ease a little bit. GFS. This is the 18Z GFS. We'll just keep on the 12Z GFS. Just see if there's any differences here. There's some differences. Yeah, the GFS seems much deeper with the trough for the weekend. But both models tend to lose the blocking as we get toward the end of the period. But that could change because that is the end of the period. And we know models sometimes, they're not that accurate that far out. So we looked at all that. Let's go and look at our temperature anomaly chart. I'm going to keep it on this view here to show you what's going on. All right, so there's another cold shot that comes in. Again, it's actually Monday into Tuesday, and that leaves. And then we got another one coming through. This one looks like it goes further down for the weekend, so I'm hoping maybe that can be accompanied by some sunshine. And then another one as we get toward... so we still have numerous cold shots coming down here, and the Euro is going to show the same thing. So there's one there. There's the first one this week, but it's quick when it's out. And then there's another one. And this one hopefully goes further south for the weekend, so hopefully we can get into clearer skies for that. And then there's another one. So there's a number of Arctic fronts, Arctic air masses that we'll be dealing with in the days and weeks to come. Let's look at the surface now on the European. So that high builds in, but you see what happens once again. We got this low going to the south. That's going to keep clouds around. So the clear skies will be probably to the north. And we're going to be dealing with some high and mid-level clouds tomorrow. And then as that storm moves away, so does the high. And that means more clouds can roll in for tomorrow. The next Tuesday as the next system comes in. And then we have a chance of showers on Wednesday with an Alberta clipper that again goes by to the north. And then another cold air mass comes down. Another Arctic air mass comes down behind that. And then Saturday, we have to watch. There's another clipper that comes by, and that could bring us a chance for some snowfall. And then another high pressure builds in. Then Arctic high pressure, and then, there's another one after that. So we have a number of Arctic outbreaks coming our way, and hopefully one of them will bring sunshine and clear, nice blue skies. That would be nice, wouldn't it? So that's the European. We'll go ahead and we'll look at the GFS and see if there are any differences here. Not really seeing a whole lot of differences here. It is a little different with the system on Saturday. A little offshore, but it looks like a little stronger. You see that cold air, but you see where those isobars are coming from, and that means plenty of cold air coming down. So let's, now that we've looked at the longer range of things, let's look into the shorter range of things, and we'll see if we're going to get any sunshine tomorrow or not. So here's that high building down. You can see there's that storm off to the south that's going to bring snowfall to the mid-Atlantic, and then that high just kind of glides by onto the north, and then maybe early Tuesday we might get some sunshine, but then there'll be more clouds arriving with more upper-level warm air advection coming through as that high moves offshore. So, and the dew points in the wind flow will show all of this. So Arctic front comes through. You see those dew points drop. The wind shift to the north tomorrow. Later in the day, especially, we start seeing those dew points really drop. The winds go north and then northeast. And then they stay northeast. Unlike the last time, they're not going to shift to the southeast as fast as they did on Friday. We did have some sucky drizzle overnight too on Friday, and some Saturday morning and light. Nothing really of consequence. Just enough to make things annoying and a little slippery. But anyway, you'll see we won't have to deal with any of that. We have dry air and light northeast winds heading into Tuesday. But you can see as we get into later on Tuesday, boom, pulls out, and the wind shift to the southwest, and that's going to bring in milder air as we get into later Tuesday night into Wednesday. So let's look at our temperatures. So the temperatures tonight won't be that cold, but by morning, the temperatures will actually wind up dropping. So we'll start the day probably around freezing, and then the temperatures actually wind up dropping, or at least staying right around that 30-degree mark for much of the day. And tomorrow night, lows will be in the teens, and if we get radiational cooling, possibly single digits in the Pine Barrens, and then if that wind drops, and then for Tuesday, you see the temperatures get back above freezing again. So because it's another one of those short-lived, it's not really getting entrenched, and therefore it's going to be hard to get the clear skies in here. So if we look at some soundings, you'll see we'll pick the middle of the day for tomorrow, and you'll see we've got a lot of upper level and mid-level moisture. But if we go to the north, let's pick Albany. Yeah, it looks a little bit better over there. And if you go even further to the north, let's go to Manchester, New Hampshire. They're going to have a beautifully clear day over there, and even colder for them. They'll only be in the teens for highs tomorrow, which is where I wish I could be. So let's go and look at, we'll go a little further along here. We'll look at the European on the 18Z run. Show you what's going to be happening with our dew points and wind flow. So, and again, you'll see that Arctic air, but you see the same thing like last time. Goes over New England, and then it moves out like very quickly. And then we have a milder flow for Wednesday, bringing a chance for some precipitation. It'll be in the form of rain if we get it. Probably won't be that much. And then here comes the next air mass on Thursday. Also, kind of the core of it going to the north. And then as we get into Friday, we'd have to wait into the weekend. And again, this only goes this far out, but I have to go to the 12Z. We'd have to get to the weekend for that, for a really good, solid northwest flow that moves further to the south. So hopefully, maybe then we could get some clear skies. But we'll have to look at the sky models for that. Our actual air temperatures obviously will go ahead for that, because obviously you're going to have moderation on Wednesday, but Thursday turns colder again with highs only in the mid-30s, mid to upper 30s again. And then Friday, we see the temperatures moderate a little bit, not too much. And then Saturday, behind that second system on Saturday, this is when you're going to start seeing the temperatures drop again, maybe not getting above freezing as we get towards Sunday, and showing some more Arctic ice, another one for next week. Showing one there, and then another one. So it is showing some Arctic outbreaks in there. And precipitation, we'll go to that, because we're not going to see any precipitation in the next video. Here's so our next chance for precipitation would be Wednesday. And you can see this low. Most of the energy goes to the north, so just a chance of a shower, and it's relatively moisture-starved. So not really showing much. If you look at the amount of moisture that we have here, there's not really a whole lot of moisture here with this. It's mostly at upper levels. So it's going to be hard to get that to translate to the surface. I'll have to see as we get closer to it if it turns out to be an impressive rainmaker. I don't think so. And then our next chance of precipitation would be, again, Saturday, with this low that might develop offshore that may bring some light mixed precipitation or even snowfall perhaps, but it still won't be a whole lot of precipitation, showing very little amounts of precipitation here, and this doesn't give a total snowfall. If we go to the GFS is even drier. That's the GFS. So let's look at the GFS on this as well, just to compare the Arctic outbreaks. You see here's the one for Saturday, comes in behind that, and then there's another one for Sunday here. and then another one later on. So there are a bunch of them here. So here we are. Here's Saturday, and you see what happens. The temperatures drop again. Notice the GFS was being a little more. I was looking at the 12Z run. The GFS on the 12Z was being a little more impressive with the cold on one of these, I think. But definitely some cold weather coming in. So there'll be some Arctic air masses here, but they don't stay entrenched. They stay there for a little bit, and they last a couple of days, and they go, and then it eases a little bit. But it's still going to be below normal when we go and we look at the longer range. Okay, are we ready to look at sky forecasts? I think we are. So, here we go. Here's the problem with tomorrow. You can see the clouds kind of just rolling in here on us tomorrow. Tuesday, we may start off with sun, but there may be more clouds in the afternoon. Of course, there's a low-resolution GFS model. Thursday, we might see more sunshine on that day. And then Friday, again, clouds, maybe clearing up. But on Saturday, maybe, if the GFS was right, when the Euro is a different solution to this, right? Actually, this is the 12Z run. This is the 18Z run. So you see there's a lot of differences here. Sunday, would it clear out? Doesn't look like it. Maybe Monday. I mean, seriously, it's just a lot of clouds in this forecast. And with all this cold weather, you'd think we'd have some clear skies. But again, you know, these as much as they hype these cold air masses, and they're not making it that far in. So we're getting on the fringe of it, and therefore we're not really getting in on the really clear, the really good, the good air, as I like to call it. We just get a glancing blow every time. This is the higher resolution GFS, by the way. I only have the 12Z run, but you see again what happens tomorrow. So there's a lot of high and mid-level clouds, but if you go north, yeah, upstate, if there was an easy way for me to get to Albany, that's where I'd be tomorrow, because we have some clear skies, and they do have some Pine Barrens over there. And Tuesday, start off with sun, and then the clouds kind of roll back in on us again. This is the GFS, so I'm going through all the models here on the skies. Let's go to the RGEM next. All right, we don't have enough of the 0Z running on the RGEM for that, so let's go to the 18Z of the RGEM. So you see what happens here. Again, this stupid system in the south just kind of sprays a lot of high clouds over us. And originally, like I said, it was supposed to be clear. But now, if you want to see clear skies, you're going to have to go north and east for tomorrow. And for Tuesday, we may start off with sun. And maybe might eke out a couple of nice hours in the morning, perhaps, before these clouds roll in, perhaps. And then the clouds kind of come back into the picture. Here we are, Wednesday, obviously dealing with plenty of clouds, and this is as far out as it's going to go at this point. There's one other model we can use here that, and I just want to show you the evolution of this too, by the way. They can, because I'm going to go to the Canadian model here, right? And we're going to go back. We're going to go back to Friday's 12Z run. Show you what was supposed to happen. So, see, we were supposed to have a nice day tomorrow. The clouds were supposed to be kept to the south, maybe over Jersey, but we were supposed to have a nice day. And then we go to the current run, and you see it's much further than north because the high and the push of cold air is just not strong enough to suppress the clouds, unfortunately. So, all right, let's go to one more model here, WRF ARW. This is another model that I don't show too often. You can see it looks like it's trying to push the clouds away, maybe for a little bit tomorrow. Maybe we'll have a little bit. Looks like it starts in the morning. Starts to try to push them away a little bit for a little bit, perhaps a little bit. Maybe we get a little bit lucky. But other than that, and then the evening, we're still dealing with the clouds, and then they finally push away by Tuesday morning. The only question then is how much time do you have on Tuesday before the next batch of clouds rolls in and ruins it. So that is the question. It will be cold for the first part of Tuesday. We'll have, hopefully maybe we can get into some good air and have some nice blue skies before this cold air leaves us again. It's like it's here and then it's gone. It needs to stay here. It just comes in and then it leaves. Again, we don't have we need that storm that's we need that low pressure. We don't have that low that's kind of stuck in the Gulf of Maine to keep the cold air in place. So it kind of just comes in and then leaves. So anyway, let's lastly go and look at the Climate Prediction Center here. And the 6 to 10 day outlook, and has excellent chances of below normal temperatures for the next 6 to 10 days. You can see a big ridge in the west, trough in the east, below normal precipitation. Yeah, not seeing a whole lot of precipitation in this forecast. And then as we go to 8 to 14 days, still staying below normal in the northeast. And then you can see that gigantic ridge in the west that they have. So they're dealing with some quite above normal temperatures in the west. I'll show you the kind of warmth that they've had out west. Let's take a look and see, because I'm sure it's been pretty warm over there. Let's see what their highs were today. Flagstaff's down to 28 right now. Got up to 55. I wouldn't say that's too crazy, but at least it's clear. So anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up. Unless we have an impressive precipitation event on Wednesday, I probably won't have the next weather video until as we get toward the later part of the week, Thursday or maybe Friday. So anyway, that's it. I really was hoping that we would get some clear skies. I'm really disgusted with this whole thing. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's so hard to get clear skies. It's just, I mean, it really is ridiculous. So one more model. We'll look at a couple more models as we grasp for straws in hopes that we have clear skies. This is the Vent 2 Sky model, which shows the HRRR. Nope, socked in. Tuesday, socked in. I mean, really. I mean, most of these are middle and high level clouds, but the sun's going to be heavily filtered. You're not going to have blue sky. You might have some jet junk in there. It's not going to be a great looking sky. Windy is probably going to be more or less the same solution, same deal as well. We're not going to have too much wind. I mean, it will be breezy tomorrow, but and it'll make it feel colder than it is. But other than that, Here's the windy come out. You see those high clouds again over us. So even has it going up to Albany. So I mean, you got to go further north. Manchester. You can see what happens. And then Tuesday, when we start off clear in the morning, we'll see what's waiting for us here off to the west. So, and the temperatures will be cold. It will be cold though. It will be cold. But the cold air isn't that deep, I guess is a good way of putting it. So but we will have temperatures below normal tomorrow. Breaking any records, I don't know. I was kind of surprised that we broke records the last time. It's possible the temperatures in the night might come close to some records if we get radiational cooling. So we'll have to see if there's radiational cooling. I think Tuesday morning is going to probably be the coldest time in this next shot of air. So hopefully Tuesday morning we get some sunshine and some bitter cold weather, so I can go where I need to go. I haven't been there in a while. So anyway, you know where that is. Anyway, have a good night.